You know, the vice president who was on the program last week responded to a question of mine about when people think about the president, are they able to sort of pin him down? You know, what is he exactly? A liberal, moderate, a centrist, or what? And he had this response in part. I want to play it for you.
What he is a progressive leader who in fact understands that politics is only the art of the possible.
And that's the art of the possible, to a lot of observers, is a marked change from how he campaigned as somebody who was going to change Washington, change the way Washington operated. Has he made a shift in his own mind to say, I've got to change tactics here, I've got to change strategy here in order to achieve some of the things that I want to achieve?
No, I don't think so. I think the president that we're seeing now is the same person that I've known for over 20 years. When the president was in the state Senate, he had a reputation for being able to work very closely with people on the other side of the aisle and forge that compromise that's pragmatic. He never lets the perfect be the enemy of the good, and I think that that's his reputation. Early on in the administration, I think the Republicans made a concerted decision to really oppose what we did. And I think what we saw after the midterm is a president who said, I'm going to reach out more, I'm going to try harder. And they reciprocated, and that's, I think, what the people want.
And is that really the issue here? The tax deal sort of cleared out some of the underbrush here, and now there's more opportunity for real engagement, real agreement? Well,
I hope so. I mean, I don't know about clearing out the underbrush. I think it's an example of what we can do when everybody says, what's most important to me? And what the president said was most important to him was not to raise taxes on the middle class, was to make sure that those who are unemployed have 13 months of benefits. Those are the ones who are going to go out, they're going to pay their rent, they're going to buy groceries, they're going to buy other household supplies, they're going to be able to afford Christmas presents for their children. That's going to grow the economy and create jobs. What was important to the Republicans was to have tax breaks for the very wealthy and the estate tax provisions. And so when you marry the two, you ended up with a package that was able to get the bipartisan support that we needed. So in a sense, everybody got what they wanted.
But this was a candidate who wrote in one of the memoirs that extending Bush tax cuts for the wealthy was morally troubling. So a lot of the core supporters who came out in unprecedented numbers in 2008 see this as caving, or they see it as weakness. They don't see it as somebody who is a progressive who believes that politics is the art of the possible.
Well, I guess what I would say is what the president wakes up every morning focusing on is what's best for the American people. What's not what's in his short-term political calculus, but what's really important to the American people. And what he did not want to have happen on January 1st was to see our economy, that although it is improving, is still very fragile. And he did not want to have people see their taxes go up. And he knew that's what was going to happen. So he wasn't looking for a Pyrrhic victory. He wasn't going to just fight to fight and take that chance. And so what he realized is that he had to be pragmatic, but he was being pragmatic in order to deliver for the American people. And that's really what I think you have to focus your attention for. And that's what he views every decision he makes. He has two priorities, and the vice president said this again last week on your show: grow our economy, create jobs, and keep America safe. And so every decision he makes is measured against that test.
But still, as president, you do have to fight some things. He talked about it after the midterms. You got to fight how things are done in Washington. He told Jon Stewart recently that yes we can is still yes we can, but yes we can but. I mean, is that now the story of the next year, that Obama agenda has to be tempered by the realities of Washington?
Well, we do have to accept the realities that the Republicans did win the House, and so they now have a responsibility to lead as well. And we can't ignore the realities of the membership and the makeup of Congress and the fact that we are going to need bipartisan support to get things done. That is a reality. There are certain things the president won't compromise. So, for example, the Republicans wanted the high-income tax breaks to be permanent. And what the president said is, no, we can't afford it. In the new year, we're really going to have to tackle our deficit, and so we're not going to extend those tax breaks for the very wealthy indefinitely. We can't afford it, and it's going to be important that we control our deficit and we tighten our belt. So that's something he is willing to fight for, and we'll see in the next year and the year after that he's going to fight very hard when those two-year extensions expire to cut off the income break for the very wealthy.